Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to yet another episode of the Halal Food Podcast. Today we have the pleasure of having brother Abubakari Sadik, who is here with us to discuss the market in the Middle East.
I believe this is the second time I'm appearing on your show, very educative show, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to have you. As I said, today we are discussing meat cuts and also things that exporters need to do to be able to penetrate the market in the Middle East. So assuming there is a company here, company A, with no information about the Middle East and looking to send products to the Middle East, what would be your first advice?
Well, my first advice to the supplier or the farmer or the manufacturer or the broker who is seeking to start business in the Middle East should at least pay a visit to the Middle East. Come see how the market operates and then engage with the distributors who are supplying to the end users, the food service and retail sectors, before making that final decision of going to the market. I believe it is very important for that manufacturer or farmer or broker to have a first-hand market intelligence of the market he or she is targeting to enter. Then to understand what cuts of beef he should export to these regions. Yeah.
If somebody is exporting to the Middle East, what should be their target? Should they be targeting retail? Should they be targeting wholesalers or Horeca?
So look, the market here, there's a lot of opportunity for all the sectors that you have mentioned, but it also boils down to the type of product the supplier wants to bring to this region. When you talk about the retail, there's a demand for the retail. You talk about your loin cuts and your secondary cuts. Remember, the loin cuts are your tenderloins, your strip loins, and your kib rolls. And then your secondary cuts are your top side, your briskets, your flank steaks, and your ram caps, going on, going on and on and on. So both sectors, there are a lot of opportunities for the food service, retailers, and then wholesalers. Remember, retailers, for them, they portion it beautifully packed and they keep it on the shelves for end users like you and me to come and purchase it and then prepare it at home. But food service is also another different type of business model. And so UAE food service is growing, retail is growing, and then wholesalers also are growing. So like I said, all boils down to the products and the type of market segment that exporter or importer wants to target. But I will advise them to first of all work closely with retail. Exactly, we'll give you the numbers, the likes of Lulu, Carrefour, Spinach, Trams, and food service will give you that penetration for hotels, restaurants, catering, and then butchers. Yeah, a few hospitals to name.
Yeah, thank you for that. So now, if you look at the global export of sheep meat, I mean lamb and mutton, the UK is the third largest exporter of sheep meat. Now, my question to you is, where does the UAE buy most of their sheep meat from? So lamb and mutton, where does it normally come from? Do you buy from the UK or where is it mainly coming from?
Well, to be very open and honest to you, I can tell you that majority of the imports of these two products that you have mentioned, mutton and sheep, majority comes from Australia. And then you could have the other uh, percentage coming from the UK. So mutton, some prefer to bring frozen mutton, 6-way cuts, and some prefer to bring it chilled. So it depends on the importer and the distributor, what preference suit their business type of model. But majority comes from the Australia and then UK as well. To be very honest with you, I've been in the market 15 years. During those times, I hardly hear of UK lamb or UK mutton.
That's good to hear.
You being on board and working very closely with your team and creating that market awareness that has also helped, increase the volume the UK lamb and mutton is seeing today in the Middle East region. And good job to you and your entire team at HDB.
That's very good to hear. That's very good to hear. So now you mentioned mutton, 6 week cut mutton. Uh what about lamb? Is it whole lamb, whole mutton, and mutton too? Do you import whole mutton, or do you prefer the cuts, importation of the cuts?
So during Ramadan, you get the whole mutton or you get the whole lamb. Remember, the difference between the mutton is an aged lamb and the sheep is a baby lamb. So that's the difference. But during Ramadan, majority of the import that comes in is your whole carcass. We call it whole carcass, But when you talk about after Ramadan, food service, yes, most of the clients prefer it to be portion slabs. So you have your lamb racks, so in the rack, you have the lamb rack standard, you have the CFO, you have the French, you have the leg bone in, leg boneless, in shank, and spare ribs. And so it depends from customer to customer and trader to trader or importer to importer. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But there is demand. But there
yeah,
is demand for all of these cards
yeah.
in the Middle East.
So yeah, I appreciate that there is demand for these things. But if an exporter wants to export, wants to just target one meat cut, which one would you prefer? Would you suggest? Racks, legs, or what sort of cuts would you suggest?
So initially, to start, I would advise them to start with the whole mutton whole or lamb carcass whole. You understand? Once that business, that first contact or first establishment is created, then you could look at the portion cut. Remember, I said portion cuts goes very well with food service.
Yeah.
So if the importer wishes to work with uh, retailers, so retailers will take the whole carcass because they have the capacity to break it down. Just imagine if Lulu or Carrefour or Spinners is working with one importer in the UK. Preferably, if they get it whole, it will make more sense to them than getting it portion cuts. But for food service, it's very easier to work with it.
Okay.
So I
Now,
advise your importers to work with both channels, both retail and then both food service sectors.
yeah. Okay, we've talked a bit about lamb and sheep meat, or lamb and mutton. What about beef? Where is most of your beef coming from? Is it also from Australia or from a different country? Because the UK is trying to increase our beef export to the halal markets.
Yeah. When you talk about beef, so we need to classify them. We have the commodity beef, which you have Brazil bringing tons of containers to the UAE.
Okay.
And when you talk about, so Brazil is there, commodity beef, South Africa is also producing.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about the mid-range, your grass-fed, yes, majority of grass-fed beef comes from Australia, and your Angus, Black Angus, Wagyu, all comes from Australia. They are the leading in this market when it comes to this high-end and mid-range cuts that comes to the Middle East. And MLA are doing a very good job in educating distributors and importers what type of cuts to import, what type of beef to bring, and this all helps the industry to grow.
Do you think MLA is doing well, or Australian products are doing well because of the presence of MLA? And what can British authorities do to also increase our products in the Middle East?
Well, both, I would say, the farmers and producers and manufacturers in Australia are doing extremely well. And then MLA is just opening the doors for them. Just imagine if I am producing a product that is not good, even if my government try to promote it, it's not going to get that attention. So I've been to Australia many times, and I'm going back this November for another refresher course. They attach passion in whatever they do, the farmers, the producers, and the manufacturers. And I believe it takes a long way. You guys have already started it, so you continue this exercise that you are doing in the Middle East. Marketing, developing a product that's a case start today. It needs to be continuous exercise until you get there. So I would say that you guys are doing very well, but you still have a lot of work to do to cover the Middle East in terms of your beef. Your lamb is gaining that momentum as I speak to you right now. Your lamb and your mutton. Yeah.
Okay. What about Wagyu? Is it in demand?
Wagyu is different. Australians are doing extremely very well. So the crossbred Wagyu is coming from Australia.
Yeah.
Wagyu is coming from Australia, and purebred Wagyu is coming from Australia. We have some Wagyu cuts which is coming from other parts of the world. I've heard that the US also has got Wagyu, but I have not set an eye on it yet. South Africa has Wagyu. Japan is one of the, Japanese Wagyu is leading because Wagyu itself means meat from Japan. So, but Australians have really taken up very seriously and they are dominating the market. So, yes, Wagyu is a high demand. Your full blood, purebred, and crossbred, they're all coming to the Middle East.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's interesting all these species are in demand. What about chicken? Is there also demand for chicken, and where do you currently buy your chicken from?
Chicken is one of the biggest because it's a commodity product which comes from Brazil. And Brazilians have championed in this sector. I'll tell you that for free. They're very good in that. So you have them coming in whole chicken whole, and some comes in you have your chicken breast calibrated and uncalibrated. But majority of the containers that come, you have a chicken breast and your chicken whole. And Brazilians are really dominating in this sector, especially in the Middle East. Yes.
And in terms of chicken, do you import them whole or you only import cuts and parts of it?
So majority comes whole import, and few of the cuts like the breast comes yes, the majority of them comes whole. And if you have a production facility, this helps you to use a whole, and then you create a value added product. So customers doesn't want to sell the whole, but wants to sell chicken breast, either calibrated or uncalibrated, leg quarter. And so it depends on your model of business and how you want to operate. Majority comes whole chicken, yes.
Okay.
Frozen.
Oh, frozen. Okay. What about eggs? Or eggs are not in demand?
Eggs, I have not worked closely, but there are eggs coming in, and I don't want to give you wrong information where the source is coming. I know UAE, we have supplies who are importing eggs from parts of the world. I don't know where exactly it's coming. So the demand also is huge. If there's any importer who wants to penetrate in the Middle East, it's the right time for them to do that because Dubai has opened its doors for everyone to come in. And I quote, Sheikh Mohammed once said that he has opened Dubai to everyone, come, but do not step on somebody's toe.
Okay.
Respect the conditions of the country, and you are free to operate. Do not take shortcuts. Once you respect the laws, I'm telling you, it's the best place to give work. So opportunities there for everyone to come in and participate.
Okay. What about if a business or an exporter doesn't know anything about Dubai, but they want to export to Dubai? what will be the steps so that they can find the right buyers, so that they can find out what products are needed? Is there a website they can go to, or how can they go about it?
Well, I think Gulf food is one of the first solution to the question that you've asked me. So if I am a manufacturer or an importer, I want to start importing my products to any country or Dubai, I'll take an advantage. Gulf food, Seattle, you know. So these are some of the events the government has made available for everyone who wants to uh, export products to this region. And secondly, the person can also go inside the internet now. Information are there. I do understand that there's a lot of misinformation sometimes in the internet, but you will still find reliable partners, or I mean, yes, reliable partners to work with. Or they can easily take a trip down to the Middle East, Dubai, and I'm 100% sure once they arrive at the airport, to access any information regarding this. Our economic department is there, our tourism is there. They will guide them and give them all the relevant information. Remember, if business thrive, the economy in Dubai is also growing, right? So I'm 100% sure that the authorities will give them the right information for them to come into operate. But respect the rules and regulations of importing product to this country with halal certification.
Okay. So if somebody wants, if there's a big company here, an established company in the UK that is thinking of exporting to Dubai, will it be easier for them to establish another company in Dubai, or they can freely export it with no issues?
Yeah, so it goes two ways. They can do that through the right partner here in Dubai. Number two, they can also have a representative who knows this market very well with the right network, right relationship, who's based here. But if they also want, they can come down here, set up an office, and use it as a transaction base. But the most important thing is finding reliable partners. Once you have a reliable partner, you don't need to have an office here.
Yeah.
Guide you, advise you, what approvals and documentations is required to start importing products to the Middle East. And understand that COVID-19, no overseas supplier is given exclusivity. Suppliers or manufacturers also wants to survive. I do understand that. So they prefer to work with multiple distributors or multiple vendors to increase their volume of production. If a single distributor can commit to the manufacturer that I will take 50 containers, and the producer believes that, okay, 50 containers is enough for him to sustain his business in the Middle East, then I'll advise that he should not distribute to other players. But if someone here cannot commit to that quantity, the manufacturer also should survive. So after COVID-19, no overseas supply is given exclusive.
Okay. That's very good information. The other question I've got for you is, what's your opinion about British lamb? Because I know you have imported it before and you have tasted it in some of the events that we organize. What's your view about the quality of British products, lamb?
Yeah, to be very honest with you, it's a fantastic product. I worked very closely with it. I've tasted the product. I came to the UK a couple of times. I've seen the environment, and it's doing very well. The quality is good. It is amazing. Baby lamb, good flavor. You know, I mean, it's yummy.
All right, Sadik, thank you very much for throwing some lights on some of the issues that I've raised today. What would be your final advice to UK exporters looking to come to the UAE?
Look, my advice to them is that they should always see Dubai as an entry point. business doesn't come today or tomorrow. You have to be very consistent. You might come today, the door will not be open. It doesn't mean you should give up. There are many players. You also have to compete. Once you believe in your product, once you believe in your service, then you have an opportunity. And Dubai is Dubai, and will always be Dubai. Dubai is growing every day. We have new players coming every day. The population is growing every day. We have new settlers coming every day. So the preference of food is growing. So if you are a manufacturer, a distributor, and you want to penetrate or come to Dubai to sell your products, make sure that first of all you must believe in your product. You must be able to convince the buyers why you think they should buy from you. The last part will be pricing. Pricing comes last. So that's my advice.
All right. Thank you very much, Sadik. I hope you'll be able to come back again if we need some more clarifications in the future.